Hi everyone, today I'd like to show you how to make this adorable scarecrow figurine from a water bottle, some paper clay, and some paints. Let's look at our supplies, shall we? Of course, I have paper mache paste. Mine's basically glue and water. The discarded water bottle, rinse it out. A case cutter with a decent blade, and be very careful with it, as well as some scissors too. Some yarn or string, paintbrushes, I use apple barrel paints. They're great quality and they're about 50 cents a tube. LED candle, I get them 6 for $3 from the Christmas tree shop. Regular tissues, you can also use tissue paper if you have it. I have about 6 tissues there. Aluminum foil, I always buy some off-brand stuff for my crafting. Toothpicks and some pencils. Of course, hot glue and a glue gun. And paper clay. You can buy it or make your own. There's a lot of good recipes already all over YouTube. Some much better than mine, actually, which is why I didn't bother to go through the process of making it in front of the camera. Okay, now we're going to cut the bottle in half and then cut off any jagged edges. I'm now shredding up the tissue paper and painting on the paper mache paste, and I will continue to apply the layers like this, painting over a layer and putting a new one on, much like you would, any paper mache project. And I want to eventually cover the whole bottle half here, and this will form the body of our scarecrow. Once I get everything wrapped, I will take 1 to 2 full tissues, wad them up, and actually soak them in my paper mache paste, and then wring it out. There we are. And then I will apply that and place a whole tissue over that and then paint it down. And now we have something that's going to start to look like the body of our scarecrow. Now this is going to have to dry. It should dry overnight. I have some wet weather up this way, so sometimes it takes up to 2 days for things to dry. Smaller projects like this, though, should be overnight. In the meantime, though, we can start designing some of our ornamentation. I take a little bit of the paper clay and just use the bottom half of the discarded water bottle, and I'm just shaping roughly to get a pumpkin style. Then I take a pencil and puncture all the way through for my jack-o'-lantern face. And you want to get clear through so the light from the LED candle can shine through those eyes and mouth. Here I am putting a stem on. It's hard to see past my hand. I apologize. Okay, and I'm just now painting out some of the rough surface with the paper mache paste. And I'll repeat this process. I'll end up making half a dozen or so of these. You can make as many or as few as you'd like. Of course, I try to get the expression a little bit different on each one. They're all pretty much a mash of dumbfounded or bored. And again, just kind of painting off those extra edges. And those will set out to dry most likely overnight. Now, of course, time has passed here. Our body's dry, and I'm now taking some tin foil, and it's about 3 inches wide, and I tear that in half, and I begin just loosely bending and folding to make something that resembles an arm. The tin foil is mainly the armature that's going to hold everything together as I apply a thin layer of paper clay. And I just kind of work out a rough shape for a hand and a thumb. This is really, it's not a detailed character, it's very cartoony. And if the arm looks like it's going to be too bulky, you can always pull a little bit of paper clay off and just kind of spread what's there. And there I am, just kind of lining it up, see where I want it and how I want it posed. And I kind of have it bent a little bit like a normal arm would be. I know a scarecrow should be straight armed, but you can design your scarecrow any way you like. This is just a rough idea and something fun that I wanted to share. And we have two pretty good looking arms there for this project. When I do snowman like this, I go a lot bulkier on the arms because snowmen got that big, bulky look. Okay. And of course, we need the hat. So I'm just going to design that floppy sun hat style. And I just kind of put a little bit of clay above the spread out clay there, and I use the toothpick to kind of push down the seams, and now I'm just kind of smoothing it out in my hands, making something that kind of resembles a mushroom cap at this point. There we go. And we'll set these aside to dry. And again, 1 to 2 days on that. Now, of course, the next day, my pumpkins are dry, jack-o'-lanterns, and I'm now painting them. The color that I'm using is actually jack-o'-lantern by Apple Barrel. Very bright, vivid orange, and I really like how it pops. Sip of coffee to keep me going. And I will end up doing the front sides completely and most of the back side, just so if you approach the figurine at an angle, you don't see that paper clay sticking out. Alright, we've got them all painted. Now we're going to add a little green for the stems. Just a nice dark green. As you can see, I haven't quite got the back sides done yet. I will by the time I apply them. Pretty good. Now for the hat. And I think a nice bright yellow for the sun hat. And again, don't do what I do. You can, go any way you want with it. Have it green with pink polka dots. I just kind of wanted to give you a guide. This is a good project for wet, rainy days, although it does take the clay a little bit longer to dry if you're dealing with wet weather. You can always put them in front of a fan too if they're not drying. It kind of helps speed things along. There's a nice bright hat. Now everything's dry, it's time to apply the arms. This is where the hot glue comes in. Be very careful. I've really done a number on my hands before with not being careful around the hot glue gun. And that sets up in a few minutes, and you can continue working. Now I'm trying to decide how to place my pumpkins. I'm just kind of doing an outline. Now we're gonna paint his shirt. And I'm just kind of loosely staying out of the outlines for the pumpkins. I want to leave those white because the LED candle's more apt to come through that. Okay, we'll give that a moment to dry and then we'll continue. Once it's all painted, we can get to applying some of the ornaments. Here we go. What I'm going for is just kind of a, pile of pumpkins look, and he's just picked the jack-o'-lantern out he likes. Oh, gotta put his little hat on. And you can stop here if you want, just kind of draw a face on whatever. I looked at that for a minute and thought, no, I want to put some color on the face and hands. So I mixed up some red and white for a nice pinkish color. And I won't be leaving it like this, but I like that pink as an undercolor. Just kind of gives a warm feeling to the character. And you can, of course, paint the arms and the hands before. Actually, probably makes more sense. I just have my own way of doing things, and habits die hard. Okay, now we're starting to come together. Alright, now I've mixed up some yellow and white to get a very lighter yellow or very light yellow, different from the hat. I wanted to go for that kind of a weather faded burlap sack or bag look, kind of like the old scarecrows used to have. I had the old Merry Melodies cartoons in my head when I was designing this character, so that's kind of what we were going for there.